Hi, I'm Culos. I play drums in O.A.R. I've been a Vater artist since 2004 and I play 5 A's. So I started playing drums because my dad was a drummer and he had a drum set in the basement, an old Ludwig drum kit from the 60s, and he taught me my first drum beat, and from there I just kind of taught myself listening to some of my favorite records growing up. But I didn't take it too seriously as a kid, kind of just from bouncing around, playing sports and doing all things kids do outside. I'd come inside, jump on the drums and then be on to playing video games or whatever. Once I got into high school, junior high school first, I started playing in some school band and marching band later on in high school, which was a great experience, but I wish I had taken it more seriously. When the band was graduating high school, we decided to go to Ohio State University. So we basically knew that we were going to try to pursue this as a full-time, job one day, and we worked really hard to make it happen, and we started touring full-time. A few years ago, I wanted to get better at my craft a little bit, so I started going back and taking lessons, and here I am now. I have a practice room set up in the dressing room every day. I get a few hours in practicing and just really enjoy it. I've had a fun time playing drums my whole life, and I really enjoy being a drummer for a career. So when I first started playing drums with the band and playing drums a little bit more seriously than just playing for fun, I started listening to some of my favorite music and listening to what the drummers were doing. I was listening to a lot of hip hop at the time, and from that I took that basically just holding down a groove or a drum beat was really, really important. Hip hop doesn't have a lot of fancy fills and crashes and changes. It just kind of got the pulse and the beat, and that's something that really influenced me early on. And I tried to emulate that, not so much trying to sound like a drummer on a hip hop record or try to sound like a drum loop, but just from the fact that you just wanted to keep the pulse, keep the groove going. So that influenced me a lot. Later on, I got into Led Zeppelin. You can't be a drummer and not talk about John Bonham. But just as far as some of the style that you infuse and the passion into your playing, I take a lot try to just kind of not think about so much what I'm doing when I'm performing as much as just playing with, playing as much as passion as you can. I also really enjoy Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers. I think early on, when I first started playing, I don't know if I would have appreciated his playing as much as I do now, which I don't know why. He's an amazing drummer, and now I just listen to everything he does, and I find that he is able to balance just funk and playing and style, but also with a real pop sensibility that I think has been able to cross over into mainstream music, and why a band like the Chili Peppers has such a success, both for their sort of fun, creative, stuff, but also, on the radio and in the mainstream. I started playing Vater 5 A's so far back I can't even remember, to be honest, because they were my drum teacher actually turned me on to them, and I was really excited when I was able to become a Vater artist, just because I've been playing them for so long. The 5 A's just have the right feel that I'm looking for. Everything down from the length and the tip and the weight and the balance. I also, what I love so much about Vater is the reliability of the drumstick. Just from night to night, and we play shows probably 150 times a year. Vaters have just always been the most reliable drumstick I've ever played, so I couldn't be happier with using them. So at the beginning of 2010, we started rehearsing for a new record. We've been writing songs. Our singer Mark and our guitar player Richard, who are the main songwriters in the band, had already been kind of compiling a bunch of new material. And we got together in January and we started rehearsing and writing all these songs so that we could get into the studio. And it was a really fun process. because we were writing material from point of view of how is this going to sound on stage? How are we going to perform this? How are we going to play this song as a band and not just as something that, one person wrote and now the band's trying to make it an O.A.R version of that. We really tried to focus on, what are our strengths as a band, and how can we adapt this song in the studio in a way that is the same approach that we would do it on stage, whereas so many of our audience really enjoys what we do. So we wrote in 3 different cities. We wrote in my city in Chicago, and then we went for a week in Columbus, Ohio, where our sax player lives. And then we spent a week in DC, where our guitar player lives. And then we went to New York to actually record the album, where the other 2 guys in the band live. So in essence, we got to spend time in each band member's city, so everyone got some extra time at home, which was really nice. But it was also, it added to the sort of creative melting pot of writing everything. Just the experience of being in all these different cities kind of bled into the writing process, and it was really neat to see how each song evolved that way. So anyway, fast forward to actually the recording of the record. We have, over the last couple years, recorded our albums in more of the mainstream traditional way that a lot of pop rock, bands record, major label bands and stuff like that, where you record just the drums first and then you add on the guitars and the vocals, and weeks later you're sort of building up from each foundation. And that's great, and that's awesome. For us, it didn't seem the most organic way, in a sense, to capture what we were trying to do with this record. So we went in and all set up where we were in, eyesight of each other, but each person was in their own isolation booth, and I had the huge drum room to myself, which is great, but I could see everybody, and we recorded as a band, and we weren't just recording the drums, we were recording the entire band, full takes, and we recorded about 75%, if not more, of the record that way. All the basics of the song basically come from all of us just playing right off of the floor. And it was such a cool experience. We had practiced and rehearsed so much that we didn't have to think about, when's the change, when's the chorus coming, how many more measures until I gotta do that drum fill. And basically we had rehearsed so much that you didn't have to think about it. It was just like being on stage. You just think about playing the best possible performance you can. And we just had an amazing time doing it that way. And of course, since we were in the studio, we were able to overdub and change some things from here and there. So it's not like the audience is going to get just a live album that was recorded in the studio. We really think that we found a great way to record a studio album, but use it, use it to our advantage, which is, recording live. So I think, being in touch with our audience and having accessibility to them, and for them to also be able to communicate with us, is one of the most important things that's led to, whatever success we have. Honestly, from the very beginning, it was word of mouth and all kinds of grassroots approaches that really started the band, building its fan base from a fan going and spreading music, online, or walking into a party and putting on a CD, check out this band. It always sort of spread that way, and I think we embraced it early on. What we would do is we'd create a way to make each night more and more unique, and we changed the set list from night to night, and we changed versions of songs, kind of improvised bits here and there, and that would do a couple of things. It would keep us, kind of fresh and on our toes, and every night, really excited to play, because you never knew what to expect. But also it gave the audience something to be able to see from night to night that was different from night to night. Gave them a reason to come out to the shows, more than just once a tour, or more than just, once a year. It encouraged them to tape the shows and trade them, because every show is different. And it gave them stuff to talk about, and gave us stuff to find out, oh, well, maybe this isn't working, or they're not liking this, or they're really liking this, so let's do more of that. So that communication between us and the audience has always been something that's kind of a symbiotic relationship. And we've always wanted to make the audience really feel like a part of this, rather than separate ourselves from them. we've really tried to embrace it. Everything, you know, from online stuff to even at the shows. To this day, we have VIP ticketing you can buy where you can come back, and we have meet and greets with the bands. You can get a copy of that night's show for free. There's posters available for you, all kinds of fun, you know, food and drinks. You get great seats, things like that we just try to encourage, you know, the audience will to keep coming back and following us, you know, on this journey we're taking. So one of the things that I love most about being involved with the band is that we've had such an opportunity to get involved with a lot of charity work. We started our own foundation called the Heard the World Fund, and its main mission is to help youth in education. But we've been involved with so many great causes over the last couple of years that it's hard to talk about, you know, there's just so many of them. One that especially means a lot to me is Kids Fight Cancer, which is a nonprofit in Chicago at the Children's Memorial Hospital, where they had this whole kind of education and entertainment kind of facility for the kids to kind of keep their spirits high and kind of keep their fears down at the same time. So that one means a lot to me. Also being involved with USO and playing for a lot of the troops and going to different bases and things like that has been one of the most amazing kind of experiences we've had. We went over to Iraq and Kuwait on a USO tour, and it was amazing just to be able to thank the troops, you know, in person and get a small look at what they do. But it was definitely life-changing. We were over there for a week, and we played at 4 different bases, flying around Iraq and witnessing, you know, what these troops do, regardless of how you feel about the situation. We were there to thank them for what they do, and I think they really appreciated us going over to entertain them and try to give them an hour or two of of a time away from what's going on in their lives. And we came home, you know, forever changed, and wanting to give back. So we will continue to do that. We've actually just finished a campaign that started as a fun project through Twitter. Our singer started getting involved in Twitter and thought it would be a really cool idea if we got the audience involved in the songwriting process. And he proposed that the audience submit their own original lyrics, and from those he would compile the best that he found to make a kind of a cohesive, full song. And from those lyrics, the band went and wrote the music to it, and we recorded it, the whole process, so that you could follow us the different stages of the songwriting, from just sitting in a dressing room like this with the guitar to sound checks and, you know, that kind of stuff, and then into the studio where we actually recorded the song. And then most recently we released it on iTunes, and the proceeds went to the Paralyzed Vets of America. So it was a really fun project. Well, thank you guys for coming and sitting down with me for a little bit. I got to get to practicing a little bit because we got a show soon and I got to get warming up. But it was fun hanging out and chatting with you guys. I just wanted to thank Vater so much for coming out and supporting me. I've really enjoyed working with them for so long, and I really look forward to the future. I just really appreciate everything, and guys, please check out Vater. I'll talk to you later.
Just for me, I bless your heart, let your mind go free. But it's loud, me off today, let's go.